My name is Charles Harrell. I'm a volunteer with the Veterans History Project. I'm here near Warsaw, Virginia on November 28th, 2006, interviewing Mr. Gallagher about his World War II experiences. Mr. Gallagher, for the record, would you state your full name?
Joseph Ira Gallagher.
And what is your current address?
7198 Richmond Road,
What city?
Warsaw,
What is the zip code here?
22572, I believe it is.
Where were you born, Mr. Gallagher?
Right in Richmond, about 3 miles from here, from Warsaw, right?
And when were you born?
When was I born?
Yes, sir.
February 15th, 1924.
What branch of service were you in?
The 84th Infantry Division,
And what company?
headquarter company,
Of what regiment?
the 84th Infantry Division.
Was it the 335th Infantry Regiment?
Exactly, 335th Infantry Division, right.
Now, what was your highest rank?
PFC is the only one.
Were you drafted?
Yes, I reckon I was, yeah, I didn't volunteer.
Did you enter the service October 8th, 1944?
I think so, yeah.
And when did you get discharged? Was it September 9th?
I think so, September 9th. I don't know whatever year it was now.
1945?
I think so, 45.
So you were in active service for about a year?
About a year.
Did you only serve in World War II?
That's right.
What theater of operations were you in?
I was in Europe, France, over in Germany.
Were you ever a prisoner of war?
No.
Were you ever injured?
Yes, I was injured.
How were you injured?
Got shot through the hips.
Mr. Gallagher, I'd like to start our interview after these first words
Right.
by looking back at your life growing up. You were born in 1924 here on the Northern Neck.
Right.
Can you tell me about your family growing up during the Great Depression and what you can remember?
We all had plenty to eat. We didn't really know it was the pricing down here. My daddy was a fisherman. He caught all the fish. We could eat the fish, and he gave the neighbors fish. And
What was his name?
Ira Gallagher.
And what did your mother do?
My mother, she was a housekeeper. She kept
What were
house.
they?
5. Had 5 children.
Where do you land in those 5 children?
Oh, well, wait a minute. The third.
So you're middle.
Yeah, that's it. Everett, Mildred, Warren, and then me, and then Malcolm.
I thought it was you and then Uncle Matt. When it Everett, Aunt Millie, you and then Uncle Matt.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Growing up, did you want to become a fisherman too?
Well, I fished, still fishing.
You still.
Yeah,
But your father did it as a living.
yeah, that's right.
Did he have his own boat?
And had his own boat and own fish traps. Put them in a pot and tar them, hang them up and dump them dry so they wouldn't rot.
So your family actually had plenty of money, plenty of food.
Plenty of food, never went hungry. Fed a lot of people in this northern lake. He'd give them fish if he didn't have the money.
Do you recall any one time when a hobo came up asking for food or begging?
No, really not. But other words, did I got to have them fish today, Mr. Gallagher. I ain't got no money, but I got to have some of them fish. So he'd fill the pan up and give it to them.
Did he run a store of his own?
No, indeed. He just peddled fish around through the neighborhood.
What was the name of his boat that he used?
Oh, just a 14-foot skiff made for these creeks around here. It wasn't much, you know. I had high sides on it, your boat, yeah, so he could handle the nets all right.
Did you, where did he get that boat? Did he make it or buy it?
Oh, we had a man down the Wharf Road but only the Atlanta fella made boats, yeah. He built one a year, but then you take care of it. You turn it over and paint the bottom, put it back, it lasts for right many years.
What was your mother's name?
Ethel, Virginia.
Was she from around this
She
area?
was from Newland. Up a road here about 7, 8 miles.
Did you, as a child, travel much?
Well, we went from Warsaw to Newland. Their grandma. That's about all.
Were you close to your grandparents?
Yeah, one of them was right across the field here, and the other one was at Newland. And we'd go up there on Sundays, places like that. Take your horse and buggy and ride about.
Your grandparents must have been just about the age to be born during the Civil War, or a little earlier.
I think some of them were. I thought I had a picture of one of them about that. All my grandparents right up there with some geese on them.
What were their names?
One of them named Jimmy Gallagher and Bob Henson. My mother was a Henson, and my daddy was a Gallagher. Jimmy, he's standing there with that mustache holding them geese there.
Were you closer to your maternal grandparents or your paternal?
Well, we was right close, yeah.
How about school during the 1930s when you started school in the early 30s?
Yeah, I went to Newland School. Never did learn a whole lot, but I went about. And then we moved down here and went to Warsaw School.
You moved?
From Newland down here. See?
Did your dad buy a house?
No, he was farming the land at Newland for my grandmother. And he got fed up with that, and he come back down here and went on top of Toski Bridge and put his fish traps overboard and fished.
Can you imagine that first home in your memory and where you slept?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I've slept in a whole bunch of snow over here. I didn't wake up snow on the bed. Had wooden shingles on it roof, but if it rained, it would close up. But the snow would slip through.
Did you have electricity in your home when you were growing
No,
up?
man. No, sir. I didn't come by here till late. No electricity.
How did you cope with life? Like
Well, we
typical.
drawed our water and had a path outside to the toilet.
Did you bathe a lot as a kid?
Oh, yeah. You had a washing tub about that big around. Get out and get every Saturday you had to take that bath out so you get your butts big.
Without any electricity, did you
We
have a
set it out
radio?
in the sun.
Oh, I see.
Set it out in the sun, warm that tub. Fill it up in the middle of the day and let it sit there till 3 or 4 o'clock and then go in the corner house, outhouse, and take your bath.
How did you heat your house
Hmm?
as a
Had
kid?
a wooden stove.
Wooden stove.
Hmm.
Did you have a radio at any time growing up?
No. Well, later years we had a radio we set on the window and tied to the car battery and listened to a Grand Ole Opera.
Was that your
And
favorite?
on
show?
Saturday night, well, that was what the thing was going, see. And then you had the cable heater, I think, when the news reporter, he was on too. And listen to him. Tell you what's going on in the world.
Did you have any teachers at school that you liked?
Well, I think so. Miss Martin Hayes was a right cute little girl, a teacher. We all had to like her. But Miss Hodges, nobody liked her, and Miss Crabb, nobody liked her. Miss Griffith was pretty good.
Was there any particular subject that you seemed to do better in than any other?
Oh, I used to like history. History, I used to. Very good at that. Wasn't very good in spelling. And not much, but I was very good in history. 'Cause I was interested in it.
Your dad must have been about the right age to go to World War One.
Yeah, I think he missed it a few days. I think it was somebody age something. He missed it or something.
So he
But
didn't
go.
He didn't go.
No.
How about your uncles? Did your
Yeah, I
uncle-
had an uncle in it. Yeah,
What was his name?
George Henson.
Did he talk about war to you as a kid?
No, you don't talk about that stuff. I don't, and I don't want nobody else to. I never asked him, but
As the Great Depression kept going and didn't seem to be ending, your family wasn't suffering. much.
no, we didn't suffer down here. Wasn't no soup lines or nothing. We had them in Baltimore and places like that. We sent eggs up at people in Baltimore we knew. Stuff like that.
Would you characterize your family to be Democrats or Republicans during the Great Depression?
Well, I grew up as a Republican, so I imagine most of them was a Republican.
They didn't talk about politics much?
Not very much, no, indeed.
When Franklin Roosevelt was elected president in the early 1930s, did your dad ever say anything about Franklin Roosevelt?
No, but I think they liked him. They voted for who they liked. That's the way it was. In other words, it was the Democratic public was the man that they. And I think they voted for Roosevelt.
Did you ever listen to any of the fireside chats?
Not much of them, no.
I said,
First man I voted for was Dewey.
in 1944? As the Great Depression gets worse, the country starts tumbling toward war. The rest of the world starts tumbling toward war. Did you ever imagine anything that Adolf Hitler was before Pearl Harbor?
No, I never knew, I never heard of him until we went over there.
How about the Japs over in the Pacific?
We heard a little bit about the Japanese bombing Pearl Harbor and all that stuff.
Do you recall the attack at Pearl Harbor and where you were when you heard the news?
I was in the. No, that's when my brother got killed. Where was I? Pearl Harbor. I believe I was in the river. I ain't sure.
How did you hear the news?
Well, when I told my sister, we got top to Titanic Bridge, and she was right under the bridge, like in the water, and hollered to her. Something like that. But we had radios and walkie-talkies. Little CB thing. I don't know if it was in the water or not.
Well, soon after Pearl Harbor was attacked, did you know anybody who joined the Army?
No, no. Not join the Army, no.
Were they drafted?
Well, I think we all was drafted. But I told the man just wanted to go, all the rest of them gone, so I went too.
Well, it was 3 years about before you went into the service after the war had started. Were there any ration coupons that your family had?
Oh, yeah, we had gas ration and I think sugar ration, all of that.
Did you go to the movies anytime and see newsreels about what was happening?
Well, yeah, up at the Warsaw Theater, you can see he showed the newsreel, yes.
Can you recall your first real job?
First real job?
I realize everybody works, but your first job that wasn't with your dad.
I went to work for Halle Tubman at Mount Holly. He was a plumber. And we learned how to put plumbing in houses and stuff like that. That first job I ever had.
Was that during the war?
Right after the war.
I see. So before you went
It was
into
before the war, yes. It was before the war. Because I went back after the war. It was before the war. I worked for Halle Tubman.
Were you making good money working for him?
Well, I making 35, 40 cents an hour. I was good money back then.
Did you want to become a plumber?
No, I think the first job was working for the telephone company up here. See, we had to take down lines and stuff in AP Hill, and because they took it over, the government, and then the company owned it, GNT owned it, and they had to get all our lines out of there for the government, and that's what we done for months, pulling down telephone lines and stuff over AP Hill.
Did your brothers go to war?
Oh yeah, I had one in every branch of the service.
Navy?
Yep.
Who was in the Navy?
My youngest brother Malcolm. My next brother Warren was in the Marines. My oldest brother was in the Air Corps. And I was in the infantry.
In the infantry army.
Yeah.
Do you recall the day that you got your draft notice?
No, I don't reckon so. 'Cause the girl that sent it to me was a friend of ours anyway, so I think she put me on the list for 2, 3 days, time. But anyhow, when the time comes, I had to go.
Where did you end up going?
But the AP Hill, they put me in there. The fellow here from Crab from Warsaw was the head of the cooks up there.
Right.
And he put me in there cooking for the officers. And of course, I stayed there for 3 days cooking for the officers. Of course, when the group went out, I had to go out too. And then I went to Camp Claiborne, Louisiana.
Camp what?
Claiborne, I went to Camp Walters, Texas first. That's where I went, Camp Walters, Texas. And I was supposed to be put in limited service, and then they sent me to Camp Claiborne, Louisiana.
Tell me why you were going to be put in limited service.
Because I was blind in my right eye. Like 2400 in my right eye. And it's still like it.
But you didn't stay in limited service. Why?
I don't know. I didn't do that. No. I don't know. Some way or another it got mixed up. I was too much of a man for them, one or the other. I don't know what it was.
So you went to Camp Claiborne, Louisiana. Yeah. And what happened there?
Well, after that, we took our basic training. Then right there at Camp Claiborne. And then they sent us to Camp Kilmer, New Jersey.
Tell me about basic training for you. Was it hard?
Oh, it was plenty hard. But I had taken it in Texas before we sent me over there, so I was tough. I didn't mind. I could walk 25 miles. What could have done anyway, because we plowed land around here with horses. See? I could walk anybody there down.
Was your eyes bad even as a kid?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Did your eyesight have a disability for you when you were in the infantry?
No, because I cheated and lose my other eye, like shooting and stuff like that on the targets, and got sharpshooter.
You got a sharpshooter with one dead eye?
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
what weapon did you use in basic to train with?
We had an M1 rifle. Had a carbine too. I got one of them around the corner there.
Did you use any heavy weapons?
No more than M1 rifle. They had some submachine guns and stuff like that, but I didn't use that.
Did you get any chance to be promoted?
No, I don't think so. In other words, when I got wounded, they shipped me right straight to, laid me out in the field in Germany, in Belgium. Carried me from Germany to Belgium. Laid out there for about 6 or 7 days, and then they flew out of the airplane and put 47 on a big 49 and flew us to Paris.
But while you were in basic training, they didn't offer you any type of supervisor position?
No, indeed. Just a plain old PC.
But you were good at the shooting.
Oh, yeah. No, I still am pretty good.
Were you good at shooting before you went into the service?
Oh, I've won a lot of turkeys and stuff like that, yeah.
So you were a good country boy.
That's right, good country boy.
Strong, healthy.
Healthy to buck.
Never was sick when you were a kid?
No, well, when I was young, I had the asthma, but I outgrew that. Thank the Lord for that.
Do you recall the day that you went to Camp Kilmer, New Jersey? And from there, what did you do there?
Well, that's when before they shipped you overseas. That's the last place you went out in March till they got that ship ready for you to go. The Sterling Castle, English ship I went overseas in.
Called the Sterling Castle?
Mm-hmm.
Was it describe the ship, if you don't mind?
Well, it was an old wooden ship, but we stayed down in a hole. We couldn't haul it off at the devil out there. And first we got out there from New York, and our own tanker or something run into us and cut a hole in the front of us. So that we stayed there until they come back and pulled us back to New York. And
were you out in the middle Pacific then?
We were there 4 days, 4 days from New York. So we did that a good way. We stayed there dead. The rest of the convoy went on.
Tell me, when that happened, you think? Was it in the winter of 44?
No, it wasn't that cold, so it must have been somewhere in March, I reckon. I don't know, maybe.
March of 45?
Maybe so, I don't know.
there was an accident on with one boat hitting one ship hitting yours.
Yeah. I got a book over here of the whole division somewhere.
It's okay. So you had an accident. Where were you when the accident occurred?
Well, you mean when I got wounded?
No, when the accident of the ships hit each other.
Oh, we were out there 4 days out of New York.
Where on the boat were you?
Well, we was all down in the, what you call them, and then they had a thing that slipped down so the water wouldn't come in. So we stayed crippled out there for 4 days before they pulled us back to New York. And then we wasn't supposed to call home for do nothing, because we were supposed to have been gone. The rest of the division was gone. But I went to a Gallagher's bar in New Jersey, and I called home.
Did you tell them over the telephone what had happened?
No, I just told them we got delayed, that's all. We didn't. But I tried to put it through that line, you know. But
When you did you get back on ship and head across
yeah,
the ocean?
they come in and fixed the ship up and put us back on it.
Same boat.
Same boat.
And you crossed straight over to England or
Right
France?
over. Went to England. Wait a minute. I went to the Rhine River, and that's when we loaded into got off the boat into the thing they carried to the shore with.
The LCI?
Yeah, that's right. And from there we went around. Of course, they had already landed in France, and of course we landed and followed them up.
The travel across France had just been liberated a few months before.
That's right.
Did you see any French people?
Oh yeah, drank a little cognac too.
What was your opinion about the French?
Well, I really can't tell you a whole lot, but a lot of people didn't like them.
But for you,
I never seen no problem with them. I never had that much dealing with them, really. We went in and drank the cognac, other than that.
you went to Belgium after you got out of France, and you mentioned you were at the Battle of the Bulge.
Yeah, I was at the Battle of the Bulge.
What happened there for you?
Well, we were penned in there. What was really happening, we were penned in there on Christmas Day. But I was at the Battle of the Bulge on Christmas Day. And see the boys bring a big thing of turkey, and they got hit with the bomb. And then everything went there. So we didn't get no turkey that day.
What was your job with this infantry company at the time?
My job?
Yeah.
I was in the headquarters company. I was running the line from A company to B company to C company.
Telephone
Oh
line?
yeah, that was my job. Because they didn't have them walkie-talkie then. They had a little buzzing ring. You had to run a wire one place to the other.
Had you gone through training to learn how to do that?
Well, I was telephone line before I went in service, and that's what they found out. And then they got me out to infantry and put me in a telephone. So I crawled on my belly all the way through France from one company to another. With them old lights shining over here, shining up in the air, light up the ground.
Was there any time that you came under fire while you were in France?
Yeah, oh yeah. Right many times. Lay on your belly. Let the Germans walk right by them with the shiny boots one night, let them go on. Let them go on by. They were heading to our front lines anyway, so we was up there. We were going to try to catch the train, which we did, but we let them go right on by us.
How was the weather for you?
Oh, it was cold over there. I used to snow, turn the Jeep over 5 miles an hour, run up to a shell hole, and over you went. Banged the boy's ankle, and we towed him about 3-4 miles, because he hurt his ankle. And then after he got there, he could hop around pretty good. So, boy, we didn't like that. But we towed the motor there anyway.
As you got closer and closer to your wounding on the Rhine, were there any other close calls that happened to you?
Oh yeah, run up on a bunch of mines and run over top, go right down. Could have hit them and blow the fleet off. Not around that Jeep.
Was there any time that you saw a mine go off that where you were close enough to see it?
Oh, I could hear it, yeah, see it. And it was cold as the devil over them.
Can you tell me something about the people who you worked for and worked with?
Well,
Any one particular person stick out in your mind?
I had a boy named Charles Angel. He was with me when I got wounded. Last name was Angel. Then I had one named Powell. He's up from Cincinnati, Ohio. But all of them was good friends, every one of them. They would look out for one another. Yes.
After the war, did you keep in touch with them?
Yeah, we did held up a few years, but I ain't heard from one of them lately.
During the war, did you ever get close enough to see tanks on our side?
Oh yeah, seen our tanks and German tanks too.
You mentioned before we started the interview that you had rescued some prisoners. Can you tell me that episode?
Well, I think they really wanted to give up anyway, but in other words, they just almost walking right to the front line. All you had to say, put your hands up, and they put their hands up and went on back to the headquarters company. But that was the game. We couldn't do nothing with them. But I have seen boys take them down and back here in 5 minutes, and the guy opened their fire and killed him. I couldn't do that. I've seen that done too.
Our guys killing the Germans?
Yeah. Take him down the road and be back here in 5 minutes. That's what the colonel or lieutenant would tell him. And he goes ahead and go shot him, and then go through the clothes and look at the pictures they had in there and all that. It made me sick. But it happened with our own boys. Shooting the people with their hands up. I've seen it.
Was there any friends that you had that got wounded or killed?
Oh, the boys that I took my training with, I see 2, 3 of them laying in the houses or in the road in a ditch dead, yeah.
But you didn't see it happen.
No.
Did your
Well, see, I was in headquarters company, and they were ahead of me, the boys you trained with, and that's, I was following the lieutenants and the colonels and all that, looking out for them, running the wires from. But that's the way that worked.
Well, if you were following the headquarters, how'd you get into a position to get shot?
Oh, that was easy. Me and Lieutenant Cowan went ahead to look for to set up our old floor, and they set right across here like Cap Point Creek down here, little creek. They were on the other side setting up machine gun. I told them we better get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. And then Freddie, all right, go in there, open fire on me. That's where I got mine. And then I went around the bend. That's how I got shot. They were on one side of the Wessel River, and I was on the other.
And you got shot by machine gun fire?
That's right, 50 caliber bullet. They claim you couldn't put your finger on the Jeep, it wasn't a hole, but I didn't see that.
When you got hit, did you immediately fall, or were you?
No, I took this foot and carried it on the accelerator and went on around the bend.
So you were in a Jeep?
Yeah, in the Jeep.
Did you have a military driver's license?
I don't think I had a military driver's license, but I drove.
What else did you drive besides Jeeps?
Well, I have drove that tanker truck, but I didn't drive that very much. But I tried, I think, one time.
As you drove around the corner, was the officer that you were with, the lieutenant, was he hit too?
No, I think I was the only one right here, really. The bullet went through me and lodged to the guy carrying a belt on, Charles Angel. So then they first put me in the wagon and said, boy, you got $1 million wound. That's the first thing they told me. I said, what the hell are you talking about? And I reckon he meant I'd get a pension every month, so I reckon that's what he meant. $1 million wound.
Did it really hurt at the time?
Oh burnt like hell, dying, the nerves dying. Put me in Paris, and I take ice picks of water, and foot was burning right up. Hold right on the foot to put me in a cast right up here, so I couldn't but beg them to take it off. I don't know what made it burn so, but the nerves dying, and it still ain't got no nerve in that foot. I can't work that foot like that. I haven't.
You mentioned that it went through your hip. Did it go through both hips or just one
One
side?
and two, one and come out the other side. Missed my tailbone just put a cigarette paper through. One doctor looked at me and wouldn't let nobody else touch me.
Do you remember the name of that doctor?
I did, but I don't know. Oh, it was Colonel Beck, what his name was, Colonel Beck. He followed me clear to Roanoke. Operated on me every time I was operating on. God, they shoved that wax mausoleum like put on guns, I reckon, through that bullet. When I got to Paris, the old private looked at it, he said, ain't for me, so he went and got that Colonel Beck. And he operated on me there, and he come on back to Greenbrier Hotel in West Virginia and operated on me there. 3 times I've operated on him. And
While you were in the overseas, before you got wounded, what was your opinion about the food that you were eating?
well, we got plenty of potatoes and bacon and eggs out these German houses. We didn't worry about our GI food. You go clean a hen nest out next morning, you got fresh eggs in there. See? And everywhere you went. Down in the basement was a bag of potatoes, plenty of potatoes. So we ate good, we need to eat GI food.
I've been told that during World War II, when the Americans went into Germany, they looted a lot. Did you see looting?
You mean the American people looted?
Yeah, the American
I've seen
soldiers.
some of it, yes. Yeah. Yes, I've seen some of it.
Did you get any war trophies while you were over there?
Yeah, I got some knives. German knives. But, they ain't held room, man.
While you were in the service, did you get to have the opportunity to see any USO shows and entertainers?
Well, it did before I went to overseas, not afterwards. I got wounded, no. That Camp Kilmer, before we went over, we had the USO show. But no.
Did you keep any type of good luck charm?
No, I never had no good luck charm. Some people I reckon did. All I had was the dog tags.
Would you consider yourself have been a religious man back then?
Oh, I was brought up in the churches, yes, sir. Brought right up in the church. But my mother was a really strict religious woman, made you go to church.
Was there any time while you were off in the army that you thought God was looking out
Oh,
for you?
yeah, all the time. He's there there looking out for me. He had to be with me. Yes, sir. Somebody looked out after me.
As you got wounded and you went to Paris, and do you recall coming home to America?
Yeah, when I got to, they flew us back to Camp Kilmer, and I tried to call home and get somebody, because we didn't have no telephone. And I called my cousin Bert Packett over here. He wasn't, that line stayed busy. Then I turned around and called at Joe Kamen's pool room at Warsaw. Old fellow used to know me, and told him who I was, and he went down to my mother and father and told him I was back in the United States. Because we never had no phone. So he went down there and told him, Joe Kamen's, or the pool hall. But I tried to call my cousin Bert Packard. I tried to call them, but that phone stayed busy. I couldn't get that. So
Did you have any girlfriends back home that you were interested in at that time?
yes, I reckon I was. But
Any-
she didn't wait for me.
You didn't wait for them?
No.
Did you write anybody while you were off in service?
Oh yeah, I wrote that girl too, and I wrote to my mother and father. My sister, she would write, and I'd write back some kind of way to her.
Did you get to see any of the prison camps that were holding the Jews?
Well, we freed a few Germans. We couldn't give them no neat little piece of chocolate. All we could give them, because they were always gone. Looked like they were starved to death. But you couldn't give them a whole chocolate bar. You could give them a little piece of it. Of course, they didn't want that whole bar.
As you were wounded and you were brought back to America, where did they send you for recuperation?
White Silver Spring, West Virginia.
What happened there?
Well, that Green Bar Hotel it is now, the government took it over as a hospital. White Silver Spring.
And when you got there, what did you do?
Well, I stayed in bed for a while, and then the nurses would come in and take me around, ride me around the hillside in a wheelchair. I didn't want to leave that place.
It was nice.
It was nice. The presidents and all go there now. That was really nice.
But you did leave.
Huh?
You did leave there.
Yeah, when they got through it, I was one of the last ones to leave it when the government give it up.
How long were you there, do you suspect?
Well, I was there about 2 years.
2 years.
Mm-hmm. Because it was a long way from Richmond, Virginia to me. Then I got so I could hitchhike. Started hitchhiking to Richmond. I had a sister living in Richmond. If I didn't get a ride, I'd hitchhike back to the hospital. And I'd get a ride. Women going to Norfolk to see their husband. And I played with the kids in the back seat. They put me over in Richmond. Thank you for riding with me, because you kept them kids occupied all the way down the road, which I loved the kids anyway. And I did. Put me right out.
When was it the first time you got back actually to home and see your mother again? You recall that day?
Oh yeah, we all was crying and everything else. Let's see, I don't know nobody.
Did they have a party?
Oh, I had plenty to eat, but always did have that. But I know a whole lot of party now.
You mentioned that all your brothers went into a different part of the
Uh-huh.
service. Did any of them not come back?
My oldest brother, Everett, no, he didn't come back. Got killed in an airplane. They sabotaged his plane after the war was over.
After the war?
Mm-hmm.
Was he in ETO?
Yeah, in Europe, yeah. Otherwise, he went over. He hadn't been overseas. He was over here training boys to fly airplanes. And he volunteered for go overseas to, I reckon, to get some time. I don't know for what. But anyhow, they claimed he said the plane caught on fire. He already bailed out. He never did bail out.
What type of plane was he flying?
Well, I don't really know. I really don't. But I imagine one that he taught boys how to fly in.
How about your other brothers?
Well, my other brother, he was in the infantry. Malcolm was in the Navy.
Did they see action?
Oh, yeah, my brother was in the Pacific. My brother was the other, Malcolm went to Africa. And went in from that side. Oh, yeah.
After the war, you were finally released from service. Did you have to keep going back to the hospitals to get checked up on?
Oh, yeah. First I had to go to Roanoke. Then they took me to McGuire, in which I still go to McGuire now.
Did you use the GI Bill after the war to get any education or help of any sort?
Should have, I reckon, but I ain't got much education today.
There's a 5220 club out there where they paid you a certain amount of money for a year before you got your job back. Did you participate in that?
I don't know, but the welfare, maybe up here somewhere, I got a little bit of money from somebody up here in Warsaw. I don't know which kind of club it was. But Miss Anderson, she was the one who told me to go up there, so I did. So where the money come from, I don't know. But I didn't get many of them checks.
Did you join any veterans organizations after the war?
Yeah, I know. VFW, I owned to that, yeah.
Immediately after the war? Or was it many years later?
Well, it was a few years later. They begged me as soon as I come home, and I was fool, I wasn't. I could have. See, they was organized. It could have been a charter member, but I didn't want to sign up for it. So I signed up later.
What did you do for a career after the war?
After the war, I got a paper route. Drove the paper route. I was crippled. And on the paper route, near Colonial Beach. Sort of moving people's yard.
But you were crippled.
I know, but I could ride that paper route.
Did you have a serious limp, or was it
I
not
still
really?
got a limp. I got a drop foot right now.
Did your military experience influence your thinking about war or about the military in general?
Well, I reckon I thought about it a lot, but I'd go through it again if I had to. For my country, anyway.
Did you ever have any lasting anger toward the Germans or the Japanese?
No, indeed. Because them German girls was good over there. They got taught in the middle just like we did. They didn't want to fight. German girls, they was nice to us. Bring us in, give us something to eat and all that stuff.
Did your service and experiences during the war affect your life afterwards?
Oh yeah, a whole lot. I was a builder and I couldn't climb over houses like I used to. It affected it. But I still built a few.
How about your mind? Did you ever have
No, ain't
dreams
nothing
or
wrong.
anything?
There's nothing wrong with it, but I ain't. No, it ain't nothing. Nothing wrong with my mind.
Do you have any regrets about your service with the military?
No, indeed, I don't have no regret. If they called me today, I'd go back. But I wouldn't get out so quick.
Thank you for your interview today. Is there any last words you'd like to have?
No, it's been very nice talking with you.
My son is 12 years old, and he hears all these veterans tell about their lives.
Then,
If you have any advice for a 12-year-old about the military and our situation today, what advice would you give him?
get a good education. And if he goes in the service, just listen and don't volunteer for nothing.
Thank you.